Hey, it's Danny the Plumber. Today I'm in Brentwood, California at this poolside restroom where we have a dripping shower head. I'm going to show you guys step by step how to fix this problem. Let's get started. This is made by Mirabelle, but whatever company you have, it's going to have the same general concept of gaining access to the cartridge. So the first thing that I'm going to do is remove the handle. This particular one simply unscrews from the handle here. Some of the other styles will have a center set screw in the center right there, or an Allen set screw at the bottom right there that you will have to remove. This one simply unscrews counterclockwise to remove the handle, just like this. This particular one is made by Mirabelle, but as I said before, this is going to be the same concept for any single lever valve. Some of them are just going to have different screws and different setups. Alright, next we're going to remove the flange, just like this. Now we gain access to the internal or integral stops, as they're known as. These will allow me to shut the water off just for the shower, as opposed to shutting the whole house down. Not all showers have these. This is a real nice thing. So these simply screw clockwise to turn off the water. Some of the other ones will just be a quarter turn, and the flat edge part of the screw will be perpendicular to the pipe when it's off or parallel when it's on. But as I said, this one simply screws clockwise to turn the water off. Once I've got those shut off all the way, I want to verify that in fact the water is off, and so I'm just going to grab my channel locks here and turn the water on. This also will relieve a little of the excess pressure in the system there. Okay, as I can see, it is definitely off. Next, I want to remove this handle extension piece here. This thing is for the handle. It'll slide right on, the handle will slide right onto that thing. There's another set screw in the center of that. I'm going to remove that by turning it counterclockwise. Now we can simply remove the nut that is holding the cartridge together. This one was super loose for some reason. I usually have to put a wrench on it, but I was able to do it with my hands alone. As you can see, there's a little water coming out. Not to worry, that's super common. And now we can remove the cartridge. This is what is causing the leak. I would say 98% of the time when you have a leak, it's because of the cartridge or the washer. Alright, so I already have my replacement cartridge here, and I'm just going to open that thing up and look inside, make sure there's no big chunks of debris or calcium buildup in there. I do see a little bit, so I'm going to simply take my rag and clean that thing out. You don't want something too abrasive like a wire brush unless it's really necessary, because you could scratch that fine brass, and that's what kind of acts as the seal on that cartridge there. So I'm just going to take my rag and kind of clean it out real nicely, because we want a nice clean surface for that cartridge to sit on. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is just kind of look inside with my flashlight, make sure I've got all the debris, and note the orientation of that cartridge, where it will sit inside that valve. I've got two knobs that are going to line up with those two holes on the top there, and so it's essential, important, you have to do it, you have to line those things exactly upright, or the cartridge is not going to fit in place. You'll feel it kind of grab once it's in there, and you can see right there it's locked in place, it's not going anywhere. Next we'll grab that nut that will tighten it down and hold the cartridge in place. I will screw that in hand tight, follow it up by my open-ended adjustable wrench this time. I think the last plumber had that thing a little too loose in there, so I'm going to make sure that that thing's nice and tight, because that thing is holding that water pressure, which is probably over 50 psi in place there. So we want to make sure that thing is definitely on tight. Okay, next what I'm doing is I'm turning the water off there with my open-ended adjustable wrench. I put my handle extension piece back on just to make sure that that water was off all the way. Here I am opening those integral stops back. I'm turning the water on. And once I do this, I want to look inside the hole there and make sure that I have no leaks on that thing real well once the water's on. Next, we can grab our flange and our handle here and we have to make sure when this is in the off position that that handle will sit in a nice, perfect downward manner. In other words, I want to make sure the handle is perfectly plumb or straight down. I don't want to angle on that. And I can see when it's in the off position right here, I put that handle on and I have an angle. It's leaning towards the left, and the camera's not making it out real well here, but it's certainly moving to angling to the left. And if I move it over one notch, it was way far to the right. To fix this is a real simple solution. I'm going to take my handle extension piece, and there's little splines on that thing, and I'm going to move it over 1 or 2 notches on the handle on the cartridge itself, screw it back together, and see if that handle lines up. If it doesn't, I'll just do it again. I'll move it over because there's a slight variation, and you can see that that's a perfect alignment at this point. Next, I'm going to take this flange and make sure that that hole is at the bottom of it, because if water gets behind in that flange, that gasket there, it's going to have somewhere to escape. So that bottom open thing needs to be pointed down. If it's pointed to the top, water's going to get inside and hold and be trapped inside there. So the opening has to be face down if it's provided on your shower. Otherwise, you're going to need plumber's putty or silicone or caulking or something like that. All right, got the flange on. We're going to screw our handle back on. And you can see that that's nice and level, nice and plumb, straight down right now, the handle. I'm going to make sure the wording on my flange is perfectly centered also where it needs to be. And we are really getting close to the end of this video here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and make sure there's no leak. I'm going to also test the water, make sure we have hot on the correct side, cold on the correct side. Depending on your cartridge, this may or may not be a problem. And that is it. You can see the water is running perfectly. We are tested, and there's no leak at the shower head anymore. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and like that video. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.